I want to tell you the one sign that you are about to waste years on the wrong person again. Not because you're stupid, not because you don't know better, but because you're human. And love can even blind the smartest people, strongest people.
I'm the soft living, and this is the real talk.
Welcome back to the Soft Living. If you're new here, my name is Debbie, and on this channel we talk about the real things young Nigerians go through, the things we feel but don't always say out loud. I study people, I study behavior, I study emotions, culture, psychology, and how our society shapes the way we love. Especially here in Nigeria, where relationship can feel like a full-time job, not because love is difficult, but because the environment we grew up in didn't prepare us for healthy relationships. It prepared us for survival, it prepared us for silence, it prepared us for endurance, even when endurance is slowly destroying us. So if you haven't subscribed yet, my love, what are you waiting for? Please hit that subscribe button, because what I'm about to say today might save you years of your life. I'm saying this softly, but I need you to hear me deeply. Many young Nigerians are not in relationships, they are in emotional prisons. And the worst part is we don't even realize it until we have lost time, years that we can never get back. But before we explain the sign, let's start with a story. A story you might see yourself in. A story you may not talk about loud, but you have lived it. Or someone close to you has. Let's sit down, let's talk, let's breathe. Let me show you what I mean. There is a girl called Anita, not her real name. I don't want to mention her real name, but her story is real, very real. Anita is 26 years old. She lives in Lagos. She has a small apartment on the mainland, works 9 to 5, and does makeup on weekends to support herself. She's not rich, she's not poor. She's like the most young Nigerian women, trying, praying, and hoping. She met a guy on Instagram. He looks responsible. He looks serious. He has that soft-spoken gentleman vibe that confuses your spirit at first, but later makes you feel safe. At the beginning, he calls her every day. He sends her long message. He tells her, you are different, you're not like other girls. He talks about marriage casually. He makes her feel chosen. But then slowly something starts shifting. He gets irritated easily. He complains about her friend. He tells her, I don't like how you dress now. Then he stops calling her as often. He becomes emotional lazy. He withdraws when she asks questions. He makes jokes about her weight. He mocks her dreams. And the worst part, whenever she expresses her feelings, he says the famous Nigerian sentence, you worry too much, calm down, or you are too emotional, you like problem. All these things you're saying, they are not that deep. That line, the emotional minimization that makes you doubt your own sanity. But Anita says she stays because she has already invested her heart. She stays because she hopes the old him will return. She stays because she has convinced herself that every relationship has problems. She stays because society taught her that patience is a virtue, even in the wrong situation. And slowly, the month turns to years. 3 years later, her confidence gone. Her joy scattered, her dreams on pause, her self-worth injured. She doesn't recognize herself anymore, and here's the painful truth. The relationship drained her slowly, softly, quietly, not with loud fights, not with the small, consistent emotional cuts that made her feel unworthy. Yet she stayed. Not because she didn't know the truth, but because she didn't want to accept it. Now pause. I want you to ask yourself, why do we stay in relationships that drain us? Why do we ignore that red flags, the signs? Why do we allow someone to reduce our peace, our joy, our sense of self? Why? It's because human beings, especially Nigerians, are taught to endure. We endure stress. We endure bad jobs. We endure wicked landlords. We endure government frustrations. We endure poverty. we endure family pressure, we endure life itself. So when we enter a relationship, we use that same endurance mentality. But love is not endurance. Love is not suffering. Love is not survivor. Which brings me to the one sign that you are about to waste years with the wrong person. Are you ready? Here it is. The number one sign you are about to waste years. When a relationship consistently destroys your peace and forces you to negotiate your self-worth, you are with the wrong person. I'm not talking about some times in relationship where you're uncomfortable, and I'm not talking about you arguing once in a while in a relationship. No, I'm talking about those relationships that makes you shrink yourself, relationship that makes you question yourself more than they make you feel loved, relationship that make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, relationship where you can't be your true self without being attacked, relationship where your needs are always too much or their own needs is always reasonable. Let me break it down in a way that you will understand. If you constantly feel anxious around someone you claim to love, your spirit is telling you something your heart is too afraid to accept. Because your heart can lie, chemistry can lie, your attachments can also lie, but your peace, you see, your peace never lies. The real story of how people get stuck in relationship, in situationship. You know, sometimes I sit down and I think about how many young Nigerians are walking around with silent heartbreak. Not that loud heartbreak we post online. I'm talking about those quiet heartbreaks that comes from staying with someone who is wrong for you, but you don't know how to live. Let me tell you a story. So I told my friend about this topic I'm sharing with you guys today, and she shared this story with me, and I'm going to call her Tola. Tola is not her name. Yeah. So Tola met a guy during NYSC. He was charming. He was that type of guy that looked like he had sense. He wasn't rich. He wasn't poor either. He was just okay. He had dreams. He talked well. He treated her nicely in the beginning. But the first red flag came early. He would disappear for 2 days, come back with long story about network problem or family issue. And Tola would tell herself, let me just be patient. Relationships are not perfect. That let me be patient was the beginning of a 5-year detour in life. Maybe I'm asking for too much. But the real truth is, she was shrinking. She was losing her sense of self. She was bargaining with her peace every day. And you know what is funny? Most Nigerians will tell her, just stay. Every relationship has problems. Or at your age, you want to start again. We normalize suffering too much that some people can't even recognize peace when they see it. When he shouted at her once in public, she said he was just stressed. When he started monitoring her phone, she said maybe he just loved me too much. When he stopped supporting her emotionally, the years kept passing. Her friends were growing. Her careers were slowing down. Her confidence was dying small. And one day she looked in the mirror and she could not recognize who she had become. Not because the man was a monster, but because she kept negotiating her worth in small pieces. That is how most people waste years, not in one big moment, but slowly, silently, one excuse at a time. Let's talk about why we ignore these signs. Let me tell you the deepest truth I've learned about relationships in Nigeria. Most people don't stay in wrong relationship because they are foolish. Some people stay because they are afraid. They are afraid of starting again, afraid of being judged by family, by friends, by people, neighbors. Some are afraid of being alone in a society that ties your value to whether someone picked you. Afraid of hearing things like your mates are getting married. Afraid of proving people right when they said this relationship will not last. So instead of leaving, they stay. They allow disrespect. They force connection. They adapt to chaos. They start acting like the relationship security guards, always checking, always investigating, always tolerating. But do you know the biggest fear that keeps people stuck? Do you want to know? It's the fear that they can never find somebody better. so they settled. Because in this country, love feels like something you have to fight for, hold with force, and struggle to keep. Even when the thing is draining your soul, you will hold on to it. This man must not leave me, this woman must not leave me. Some people don't even know what healthy love looks like anymore. They think chaos is normal. They think shouting means passion. They think emotional distance means he's busy. They think lack of attention means she's stressed, and slowly they lose themselves. Let me tell you something. When someone makes you question your value every week, when someone drains your peace consistently, that is not love. All these things I'm telling you, you might not notice it immediately, but over time, it washes away your joy, your confidence, and your strength. Now let's talk about the real Nigerian problem, which is pressure. In Nigeria, relationships are not just relationships. They are projects with deadlines. By 23, someone asks you, so when will you come and see your people? By 25, they are asking, when is the wedding? I'm 25 years old and I get asked this question all the time. When will you marry? When is your guy going to see your people? All the time. Even yesterday, I still hear this question. By 30, they are asking, what is the issue? Why are you not married? You are old enough. Where is my child? There is a cultural timer counting in the background. When you are dating a person, you are dating with expectations, competition, gossip, and society invisible pressure. I must marry before that woman's child. Like, those neighbor, like your mother will even call you, and Shade, don't marry. Oh, when are you bringing your husband? Everybody in my meeting, in my community has married. When will you bring your own husband? You understand? You will hear things like that. Men as cars. A good woman is hard to find. Don't be too picky. Your standards are too high. At your age, you have all this huge, nobody will marry you. I remember when I used to talk to my friends that the guy I'm going to marry is going to love me, is going to has only eyes for me, is not gonna cheat on me. And my friends would be like, there is no man like that. Your standard is too high. But guess what? I have a boyfriend now that loves me and he doesn't cheat on me and he treats me like a queen. And let's now assume that you're having issue with your partner and you tell people, it'll be like, you can't start at your age. Just stay with that man. Just manage the relationship. Just settle down. So instead of making decisions with your heart and mind, you're making decisions with fear. Fear of time, fear of judgment, fear of shame. This is why many Nigerians ignore the biggest sign they are with the wrong person: the absence of peace. We have glorified suffering so much that we think peace is unrealistic. We are so used to toxic relationship that we think that there is nothing like healthy relationship. But let me tell you a secret. You see, peace is not luxury. Peace is foundation. If peace leaves your relationship, everything else becomes noise. Here it is, the one sign you are about to waste your years. The number one sign you are about to waste your years on the wrong relationship is when the relationship is constantly forces you to negotiate your peace and self-worth. And it happens not occasionally, not once in a while, but consistently. Peace is not silence. Peace is not absence of fights. Peace is not pretending everything is okay. Peace is when your soul is not in survival mode. These are the signs you are in survival mode. If you are always trying to calm yourself, if you are always trying to second guess yourself, if you're always walking on eggshells, if you always feel like you're trying to prove you deserve love, if you're always afraid of the next argument, if you can't predict their mood, if you're always begging to be understood, if you're always trying to explain your words, my sister, my brother, you are not in love. You are in emotional captivity. A relationship should not feel like you're fighting for space in someone's life. It should feel like partnership, like peace, like safety. When you stay in a place where your peace is constantly drained, your body starts to adjust to chaos. Your nervous system changes. Your confidence drops to zero. Your standards weaken. You start accepting the bare minimum because your spirit is tired. That is how years are wasted. Let's talk about men, because I also have men that subscribe to this channel and I really appreciate you. There are men in this country who are dating women that don't respect them at all. Women who mock their financial situation. Women who compare them to other men. Women who only love them when money enters. Women who drain them emotionally and financially. But the man stays because I've already invested years in this relationship. She has been there since. I don't want to start again. I don't want people to laugh at me at my age. So they keep trying to prove themselves to someone who does not even care. What do you lose when you ignore the sign? Let me tell you something very deep. When you stay in the wrong relationship for too long, it does not just waste your time, it wastes your becoming. You lose your confidence, self-esteem, energy, purpose, joy, opportunities, friendships, career momentum, financial stability, strength, ambition, identity, and so forth. You lose the part of yourself you were supposed to grow. Some people don't even know that the reason why their life feels stuck is because the relationship they are in is draining their power. If I tell you people, I remember my past relationship when I was with my ex. I could not do anything. Everything in my life feels stuck. But immediately I left that relationship, I felt like I just gained freedom. Everything in my life started working smoothly, because when you are stressed every day, when you are crying every week, when you are begging for bare minimum, when you can't think clearly, how do you want to even succeed in life? Some people think heartbreak only affects emotions. No, heartbreak destroys destiny. Wrong relationship destroyed destiny. There are so many destinies today that have wasted because of wrong relationship. Years pass, time waits for nobody. You are 22 today, suddenly you are 26. You are 27 today, suddenly you are 31. You are 30, before you know it, you are looking back thinking, how did I spend all these years with someone who did not love me well, who did not love me enough? And the worst pain is not leaving. The worst pain is realizing you should have left earlier. Let's talk about the psychology behind the reason why we stay. People stay in draining relationships because of childhood patterns. Some of us grew up begging for emotional crumbs from our parents. Begging a parent to talk to us. Begging for attention. Begging for validation. Begging to be seen. So when we meet someone who gives us little doses of affection, we cling to it. Not because the person is good, but because our inner child is desperate to finally feel chosen. This is why some relationships feel addictive. They activate your trauma. And if you grew up in survival mode, maybe in tough home or tough environment, sometimes you confuse peace with boredom. Peace feels too calm for you. It feels unfamiliar. It feels like something is missing. And that is why you see somebody meet somebody that loves them, that give them everything they want, and they still look aside because they cannot relate to that healthy habit, to that healthy relationship. They see it as boring because your nervous system is used to chaos. This is why healthy relationships, healthy love feels uncomfortable at first. You're waiting for the fight, you're waiting for the insults, you're waiting for the silence, you're waiting for the drama, and when it doesn't come, you feel something is wrong. This is how trauma deceives people. When I see people leave the right person and go for the wrong person, it breaks my heart because I know they are repeating patterns. And this is why people need to start learning about patterns. They are patterns. You need to know your patterns. You need to know, like, sometimes people go for things that are familiar to them, things that they are used to, because they are scared of trying new things, because they are used to one particular thing. I want us to talk about the societal factor like money, gender, pressure. Let's be real. Money affects Nigerian relationships more than we admit. A man with no direction will make a woman feel like she's asking for too much. A woman with no emotional stability will drain a man who is trying his best. Men fear being used, women fear being abandoned. Everybody is afraid of something, and fear makes people cling to the wrong relationships. I'm going to share what you must learn that I have learned. And let me tell you something with my full chest. If someone constantly drains your peace, you cannot build a good life with them. I know it's hard, but you need to know that. You cannot build wealth. You cannot build a family. You cannot build purpose. You cannot build anything meaningful. Peace is not soft life. Peace is survival. Peace is oxygen. Peace is destiny. If there is no peace in your life, your brain will be you cannot function well. Peace is your power. Don't let anybody mess with it. When someone messes with your peace, they are messing with your future, your purpose, your destiny. Let that sink in. How do you know when it's time to let go? It's time to let go when you no longer recognize yourself. When your spirit is tired. You feel small near them. You feel anxious every day. You cry more than you laugh. You have lost your voice. You are begging for basics. You are losing opportunities. Your confidence is disappearing. You are always confused. You see, friendship, relationship, there is something in common, which is love. You have to love somebody for them to have access to your life. For somebody to be your friend, or for you to be in a relationship with somebody, you have to love them. The love you have for them should not make you confused. Love should not exhaust you. Love should not make you feel unsafe. When peace leaves, love becomes punishment. My loves, let me hold your hand when I say this. Listen to me. You deserve a relationship that brings you peace. Not perfection, not fairy tale, just peace. Someone who listens, someone who respects you, someone who values your voice, someone who makes life lighter, not heavier. You don't have to shrink for love. You don't have to suffer for love. You don't have to negotiate your worth to be chosen. If the relationship is draining your peace, you're not losing a partner by leaving. You're gaining your life back. And sometimes God removes people because your future cannot breathe around them. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not unworthy. You are simply learning. And when you finally choose peace, your whole life will open. This is the Soft Living, where we have real talk, real conversation, where we talk about healing, growth, and choosing a good life, where we learn how to live with sense and intention in this crazy world. If this video touched you, subscribe, join the family, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and remember, your peace is not luxury, your peace is life. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Love you.